Do you notice something unfair about your currency? I mean, look at these bills. On the one, the founder of our country, George Washington. That seems appropriate. The picture on the 5 is Abraham Lincoln. Alexander Hamilton's on the 10, Andrew Jackson on the 20, then Ulysses Grant on the 50, Ben Franklin on the 100. What do they have in common? They're all guys, white guys. And that's wrong, says a petition drive called Women on the 20s. Its website leads with the line, "A woman's place is on the money." That's clever, and they got more than 500,000 votes for women they want to put on the $20 bill instead of Andrew Jackson. As you've probably heard by now, the Treasury has agreed to make a new bill, but they said not the 20 because it was already redone not long ago. Instead, we'll kick Alexander Hamilton off the $10 bill. Or just move them to the side. That's not clear yet what they're going to do. And this change is long overdue, says Barbara Ortiz Howard. She led the movement, the Women on the 20s campaign. Sabrina Schaefer of the Independent Women's Forum is less enthusiastic. Why, Sabrina?
We have to remember that when we memorialize someone on money or through a monument, it's because much more than who they were as an individual or their gender or their political party. It's because of the values that they espouse. It's because of the way that they have influenced our culture and that it's persisted throughout hundreds of years now. And so I think it's much more important that
women haven't done that as much as all these guys? Well,
of course, we have to look at someone like Alexander Hamilton and what he did to transform this country from an agrarian society into one that is urban and stable. He prevented what probably would have been more civil war between the colonies or the states at the time. There's so much to say that he contributed to the country, and that's not to say that there weren't great women out there.
And Barbara, we're all for gender equality, but they are called the Founding Fathers. At the time, it was the guys.
Right. We are women on 20s because one of the founding fathers, Andrew Jackson, and Mr. Jackson's legacy is one that we kind of call into question. And
so you're not for kicking Hamilton off?
We're not. No, we didn't. We would have been women on 10s.
So it was because Jackson is a bad guy. He was a slaveholder. He became president. Then the Supreme Court said he couldn't kick the Indians off their land. He did it anyway.
At gunpoint.
And many of them died, thousands maybe.
Yeah.
And so we want to punish him, but the Treasury said, nah, we just did this bill. It takes a while. We're really slow. We're government, and we can't do the 20.
They had already started work on the $10 bill. They take their cues from a committee that says, look, this currency needs to be redesigned for security reasons.
So Hamilton's going to go, I feel bad about that he'll be demoted. He was a big deal during the American Revolution. He was a courageous soldier. Then he helped get the new Constitution passed, helped our new republic recover from its deep debt. In his spare time, he founded the New York Post. He was also a remarkable human being, enough to stop a mob when it threatened to harm an unarmed British loyalist. And he did all that even though he was an orphan, a poor immigrant. He embodies the American success story. Earlier, we asked you viewers on social media what you thought about replacing Hamilton. On Google+, Jesse Chapman wrote, "What took so long?" On Facebook, Jordan Rose said, "As a woman, I disagree with changing this. Why fix something if it isn't broken? Political correctness? Yes, probably." Labo Rabestein added, "Why? Hamilton's face is there for a reason. Someone thought he was worthy of the honor. Has he done something to suddenly make him unworthy?" My producer, Ricky Ratliff, went to Times Square to ask people about Hamilton. Most people didn't know anything about him.
Do you know what he did?
Alexander, he was a president, wasn't he?
Actually, no. Most of the people on bills were presidents, but not Hamilton.
Do you know anything about Alexander Hamilton?
I don't. But I know that he's just another face on another man, if you want to look at it that way.
Okay.
Another bill.
Just another man. And most people said, yeah, put a woman on the currency.
We're going to dump him for a woman. What do you think about that?
Great idea.
Why is it a great idea?
Because we have equal rights.
Oh, that would be totally cool, especially with Hillary in the position that she has been. I think that's really cool. It's about time, to be honest.
What? Oh.
I think it's great. Yeah, I think
about time.
But then she asked, which woman should be put on the currency?
Are there any accomplished women that come to mind? You know, women who have really changed the course of American history.
Long silence. He couldn't think of anybody. So,
Right,
Barbara,
because
who you
that
gave?
has been women's history has been absent.
You gave people choices on your website.
But, you know, this is a long process. For over a year, we called names. We had over 100 people. We went to our historians. We went to authors. We went to women in women's studies. And we went from 100 to 60 to 30 in a process of evaluating the women's impact on society, and then also how difficult it was for them to accomplish those things. And then we came up with our top 15.
And Harriet Tubman is in the lead.
Harriet Tubman came out as the winner.
If you had to have somebody, you'd be okay with her?
I would just say that when you listen to these people on the street, there is this sense that society today is openly hostile toward women. And that's why, as much as I think that your heart is in the right place, I think the campaign is suggesting that life is not. If you
listen to this, it sounds like society is hostile toward women.
Right. I mean, you listen to these people and they think that because there's not a woman on our currency, that somehow we don't have equal opportunity here in America. That's a very sad state of affairs. These women have equal opportunity to learn who Alexander Hamilton is, who Elizabeth Cady Stanton is,
no, they
who
don't.
Jane Addams is, and they absolutely do.
All right, well, producer Ratliff brought of some of the women on your website, ones who got more than 1,000 votes to people in Times Square, and asked them.
Rachel Carson is one of the suggestions. What do you think about that?
I don't know who that is.
No, I don't know who Rachel Carson is. Is she a women's rights movement person?
She was an environmentalist. Margaret Sanger, what do you think about her?
Don't know her.
Wilma Mankiller.
Okay.
Do you know who she is?
No.
She was 4th on your poll. Most people don't know who she is.
Wilma Mankiller, who was a chief of the Cherokee Nation, elected 3 times, and she did garner as many votes.
You think it's because her last name is Mankiller, and it says
That might
something
have
about
not made her as popular. May not have been as popular, but if we are going to name shame, you know, I mean, this woman had incredible accomplishments for her nation, so we wanted to honor that.
Well, thank you, Barbara and Sabrina. Later in the show, I'll solve the conflict over whom to put on the currency. And it would give both of you, my solution, will give both of you what you want. First, one more Facebook comment. Will Core wrote, if women really get paid less than men, shouldn't a woman be on a new $7.50 note?